As you might know that business analytics is basically talking about the fact-based management. That means we have to take the decision based on facts and figures. So being the business analytics student, so we should know about some mathematics and statistical techniques. So we should have the knowledge of computer science. So when we are saying the computer science, that means we are talking about in terms of analytics perspective. We should know one or two programming language, such as the most popular one are the R language as well as the Python. And we should know some database tools like SQL, and then we must have the business side knowledge, such as if I am the marketing person, so I should know the marketing problem, similarly HR, similarly operations, similarly supply chain perspective. So the domain knowledge is also very important when we are going to solve some business analytics problem. So using some analytical technique, we are trying to solve marketing, finance, HR, and supply chain related problems. So now the question is, what kind of analytics we have? So we have four types of analytics. Okay. So the first one is the descriptive analytics. The second one is the diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. So normally when we are talking about the descriptive and the diagnostic perspective, these two, in which we are using the historical data and we are trying to understand what happened previously. So that means based on the previous data, we try to get some insights, what happened, what factors are affecting our sales, what factors are affecting our inventory, and so on. Similarly, we are trying to get some the causes behind that one. Why sale is increasing in certain region? Okay, why sale is decreasing in certain region? Okay, why we are not getting certain profit? Okay, so that means we are trying to get the answer from the historical data, what happened and why did it happen. So for that, we can use different type of the techniques. Okay, so our focus is going to be that is the visualization. So which means we are trying to answer what happened and why did it happen. So in today's lecture, we are talking about descriptive analytics as well as diagnostic analytics perspective. And the third thing is we have the predictive analytics. That means we are trying to predict the future. Okay, so for that we have some statistical techniques as well as we have some machine learning related techniques, such as linear regression. We have multiple regression, logistic regression, neural network, deep learning, and many more. And then once we have predict something, the next thing is we are focusing on which among the multiple alternative, which alternative is the best one. So that means we are trying to make the optimum decision. So that is the prescriptive analytics. So when we are talking about the optimum decision, so we have multiple techniques. So that is the major focus of the prescriptive analytics, that is the optimization, simulation, network science. So prescriptive analytics is heavily occupied by the subject of operations research, which is also known as OR. So as you can see that, so this prescriptive analytics is basically the decision focus, because among the multiple alternatives, we are trying to pick up the best one. Whereas in the previously, we are mainly focusing on using the historical data. We are trying to identify what happened, why did it happen, or what will happen. So that means we are trying to predicting something. But as I told you earlier, so the focus of today's lecture is going to be on descriptive as well as the diagnostic analytics. Okay. So if we see the analytics in terms of the HR, so here I am giving you the example. So even Google is using the analytics and they call it HR analytics. By calling HR analytics, so they are basically focusing on talking about the people analytics terminology. And they are using these analytics in order to identify the characteristics of the leaders. So they are using the analytics in order to identify the factors that are contributing towards the productivity. So they are evaluating the potential of new hires. Okay. Similarly, they are using the predictive analytics to forecast or to predict the turnover rate or retention time of your employees. So here I'm giving the two websites. So in these websites, you can find out the multiple data sets from the different domain, especially the HR data. From this website, you will find out approximately 20 to 21 data sources related to the HR field. Okay, but whereas from the kaggle.com you can find out the data set from different domains, even from healthcare, energy, supply chain, marketing, HR. So different fields related data you will find it. So this is one of the most famous website for data scientists, for machine learning engineers, as well as business analytics persons. Okay, so similarly, we can talk about that analytics helps to the marketing persons in order to segment the customers, in order to betterly understanding the behavior of the customer. So, however, we would be able to advertise the budget properly. Okay, we should effectively get the pricing strategies. We would be able to improve the forecasting demand. Okay, so that means marketing analytics telling us different marketing programs. We can compare them and then we can identify which marketing program is more appropriate or the best one in terms of return on investment, in terms of overall marketing effectiveness perspective. Okay. Similarly, we can use the analytics even in the domain of supply chain as well. So I have taken these two pictures from this particular article, which is very good article. So over here, you can see that they are mentioning the score model, which is basically sourcing, procurement, operational reference model, in which you can say that we have the four main areas which are important in terms of the supply chain, which is sourcing, making, delivery, and return. So in every particular domain, what kind of activities we can perform, okay, and then these are the decision levels, whether we are doing the strategic decisions, whether we are doing the tactical decisions or the operational decisions, okay, and obviously all these decisions are based on planning. So over here, I'm mentioning certain tasks. So which in the supply chain, as a supply chain person at a strategic level, what kind of things we are doing? Okay, at a make level, what kind of things we are doing? So certain examples you can see over here. And for that, we have different types of analytics in order to make the good decision. So, which means if I'm giving the example of product line mix at a particular brand, so that means what kind of product we are going to produce in a certain plant. Okay, so what should be the mix of product? If we are producing 10 type of product, so how much quantity we should produce of product A, how much quantity of product we should produce on a product line 2, and so on. So for that, we have the multiple analytical techniques such as descriptive analytics techniques, predictive analytic techniques, as well as the prescriptive analytic techniques. Okay, so as you can see that using different analytical techniques such as descriptive, such as predictive, as well as the prescriptive analytics. Okay, as I told you earlier, so prescriptive analytics is heavily occupied by the operation research, which is also known as the management science. So here are the list of techniques which are available in the prescriptive analytics, list of techniques available in the predictive and the descriptive analytics perspective. So in the domain of, which mean in the domain of supply chain or HR or healthcare or finance. So we can apply analytics in every domain to perform certain tasks. So whether we want to measure the sales for effectiveness, whether we want to analyze the campaign and promotions, okay, whether we want to segment the customer in terms of marketing perspective, whether we want to predict the forecasting. So depending upon the particular task, so we are going to pick a particular analytical technique. So the major important point is based on the task, we are trying to identify what kind of questions answer we are going to give, whether we are interested to find out what happened, or whether we are interested in why did it happen, or whether we are interested what will happen, okay, or what should we do. So depending upon our question on the particular task, we are going to pick up the technique. So as I told you earlier, if we are interested in to find out what happened or why did it happen, so that means we are talking about the descriptive analytical techniques. Okay, as well as the diagnostic techniques. So if we are interested in what will happen, so that means we are interested in the predictive analytical techniques. So if we are interested in what should we do, so that means we are talking about the decision making perspective. That means we are talking about the prescriptive analytical techniques.